Hello and welcome back to the trash. And today we are updating our rankings yet again for Tough as Nails Season 2. Now let's just dive right on into it, because we are at the mid-season point with the contestants. I mean, we have 6 of them left. We started with 12. Now, as for the people who have already been eliminated, we have Tara, Mikey, Angel, Selly, Freight Train sadly, and Meryl. Now, of these 6 people, 3 of them are currently outside the game, and 3 of them are still in for the team portion. 1 of them is coming back soon, 2 of them are gone for good. Now, looking back on my original rankings, I had Tara at number 6, so that was completely wrong. Mikey at number 8, which wasn't too far off. Angel in at number 10, I want to say, so that was pretty much on the money there. Meryl I had at 5, so that was completely wrong. Freight Train I had at 2, so that was incredibly wrong. And Selly I had at around 9, so that was spot on. This just goes to show my predictions are not correct because I only got 2 of these players right, and I wasn't trying to guess their placements. I was ranking them based on likeliness to win, and I didn't have any of these people at number 1, so overall, these are 6 people that I really liked to see on this show, and it's a shame that 2 of them are gone for good, and I can't wait to see Freight Train join back maybe in the next episode. Now, we're going to get into what my thoughts are on the team portion and who I think is going to win that, and I think, in my opinion, Dirty Hands has got this. I think Dirty Hands is in a really good place. Angel's giving his full effort to the team portion. Freight Train's coming back soon. Liz is pretty strong in leadership ability. ZEUS wants to compete with Scott. IRAIDA's really strong. There's a lot of great competitors. Not that there's not great competitors on Savage Crew. I mean, Scott's on Savage Crew. SWIFTY's on Savage Crew. Meryl's on Savage Crew. Savage Crew has a lot of great... Just throw in Selly and Sarah while you're at it, too. They're also pretty great. But I just don't think they stack up to Dirty Hands' selection of humans. I mean, especially now that Tara's removed from the mix. I mean, I like Tara, but she wasn't really helping the team much. I think now that she's removed from the mix, I think this team is just stacked. This is a stacked team. And I can't wait to see them probably win, in my opinion. Alright, now we're going to get on my updated rankings, and in at number 6, I have Sarah BURKETT. Sarah's always been dwelling on the bottom of my list throughout the entire season. It's not that I don't think she can compete, it's just I think everyone else is probably better. Nothing against Sarah, though. I think she's a strong competitor, just the least strong of the ones left. Especially after watching the last overtime, that kind of lowered my ranking of Sarah a little bit. In number 5, I had SWIFTY Sanders, and I hate to put SWIFTY this low. But it's got to be done, because the 4 people I have ahead of him are they're just giving me the signs, the vibes that I need to feel comfortable about putting him in the top 4. SWIFTY gives me some of those vibes too, but just not as strong as someone like a ZEUS, Scott, IRAIDA, or Liz. So I hate that I have to put him this low, but he's this low. And now at number 4 we have Liz, so she dropped out of my top 3, and I had her at number 3 in my original ranking. And she's always been in the top 3 in my ranking. I think I had her at 4 a few times, but I think most of the time she's up there in the top 3. Well, someone broke that top 3. Someone just broke right into my top 3 that I did not expect to break into my top 3. And you can probably know who that is by this point. But yeah, Liz, I don't know, I think she's still a decent chance, but she is given the Linda vibes. I said this before. Linda from season 1, she's a lot more visible than Linda was, but she has the same sort of story as Linda had. And at number 3, I have ZEUS. Now, ZEUS, he's always been at the top of my list. He was number 1 in my original rankings. And I'm glad he's still in the game, or else I would have looked like an idiot. So, ZEUS, I think, especially now with his storyline of trying to be better than Scott. Be better, Scott. His storyline of trying to overcome Scott as his obstacle in the game. I think this could really transform into some sort of finalist, or maybe even a winner. Because I think ZEUS probably is making the finals. There's no doubt in my mind he's making it past the next elimination. It's just everything after that I'm worried about with ZEUS, because they're picking up his edit. He's getting a pickup. I don't know where it's leading, though. At number 2, I never expected to put her this high, but we have IRAIDA. IRAIDA was always someone who was towards the bottom of my list. But with her recent storyline, the recent pickup and edit, she had a recent pickup and edit, especially after Freight Train was eliminated and she had to punch out for him, which really painted her in a positive light. Another thing that painted her in a positive light was mainly the individual challenge of the last episode. I think that's where she really shined, is the individual challenge last episode. She beat Meryl in overtime, which, that's impressive. So I gotta bump her up for that. I gotta bump her up for the pickup and edit she's had. I gotta bump her up for the positive storyline she's getting. And she just got bumped up to number 2 very, very quickly. She took the old Freight Train spot, mind you. And she's carrying on his legacy, especially after punching out for him. That's where I have IRAIDA. I didn't expect to put her this high. I really didn't. But you gotta look at it from that point of view sometimes. And I think IRAIDA is someone who's more than likely definitely making the finals. Maybe winning. But I do think number 1 is probably more of a contender for the top spot. And number 1, I have Scott as always. He could be a decoy for all I know. I don't know. But Scott, he just seems like the winner. He's killing the competition. There's no reason why he'd lose at anything. The only person I can possibly see Scott losing in overtime with is ZEUS. Maybe that's the storyline they're trying to set up with ZEUS scenario, where ZEUS beats Scott in overtime, or maybe where Scott beats ZEUS in overtime. I don't know. I think maybe Scott and ZEUS end up in overtime. I would say Final 5 or Final 4. And maybe ZEUS goes there, and the Final 3 would end up being Scott, IRAIDA, and, I don't know, maybe Liz. But again, there's a multitude of ways that it could go. There's really no telling at this point in the game. All we gotta do is watch. But with that said, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It was definitely more of a me rambling video, and I will see you next week after the next episode of Tough as Nails. Goodbye.